CBD. These are actual program files that we need to copy over. So I will go into the OBS plugins folder on the program side, click 64-bit there. And as you can see, there's all kinds of crazy plugins already in there. I will take these two and I will copy it and go back in here and paste. And it's going to want to know, they're already in there. I'll just hit replace. It's going to want to make sure that you want to continue with administrative rights. You hit continue and they go over, no problem. Okay, let's go back to the main folder on the download side. Okay, and let's get back out here by hitting OBS. Okay, go into OBS Studio. Okay, now we have a data folder as well. So we'll double click that on the download side. OBS plugins, we'll click it again, and there's the move-transaction or transition folder. Go into the program side. OBS plugins is the folder, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff in there, so I know that's where it needs to go, and I will copy that and paste it in the program folder. Replace, continue, continue as an admin. Now there's a bunch of folders in there. There we go. And then it moved. So now, technically, we should be ready to see the actual update to the program. So let's open up OBS and see if it's in there. Yep, it's working. I made 3 scenes, I should say, with some memes and a video background. And let's see. And in the scene transitions, there is a plus sign, and there, lo and behold, there's a new button called Move, which allows me to assign movement to these scenes. There they go. So as I click the scenes, now I have this slick, smooth scrolling motion between each scene. Pretty slick, huh? So it works. I gotta tell you, I have a love-hate relationship with OBS Studio. It's mostly love, but I find myself not wanting to experiment with new plugins so much anymore because it's so damn difficult to remove them if you don't like them. Not all plugins are created equal. Some are fantastic, some are mediocre, and some are just garbage. And I hate to keep those bad ones on my program. So I went out and did some homework, and I found a way to take a snapshot of OBS Studio, then install the plugin, and then, if I don't like it, I can restore back to OBS before it was installed. I'm talking about all your settings, all your tools, all your scripts, all your plugins, everything, soup to nuts. You can restore back and completely get rid of the plugin or tool. It's fantastic. Not only can you do that, but you can also migrate OBS Studio to another computer as well, which is also a side benefit. So every live streamer who uses OBS Studio who has a PC should know how to do this. I look forward to explaining it to you. Let's get some. Electrify your online presence with live streaming. This channel provides education on live streaming tools and techniques that give you the reward and recognition that you deserve. If you like what you hear, subscribe and click the bell for new video notification every single week. Now, as I stated before, this is a tutorial for PC users, but if you're a Mac user and you have interest in a version for you, let me know. And I promise you, I will leave this bunker right now. I will go up to the top floor of this house and I will walk into my son's bedroom where my old iMac is located, and I will, for the first time in probably close to 2.5 years, I will make a tutorial for Mac users specifically for you, okay? Now that shell over there is inert, okay? That's a 16-inch firework shell. We're firework fans. That's a fake shell. Don't worry, that's not real. So anyway, let me know in comments if you're interested and I will make one for you. Okay, let's get into what files you have to copy in order to make a backup for OBS Studio. Here we go. Now, in this manual backup solution that I'm going to explain to you, it will require a zip program. I highly recommend 7-zip. That's what I have on my computer. It works great. It's 100% free. So if you don't have a zip program, which I'm assuming that you already do, but if you don't, consider 7-zip. That's what I will be using in this tutorial. Let's get going. Okay, on my current OBS program, I have installed the Stream Effects plugin, and I only have 2 scenes. The backup that I've done previous to this backup has 24 scenes and does not have the Stream Effects plugin installed. So I'm going to show you how to restore from that previous backup so that you can confirm that Stream Effects goes away and that the scenes are added. So I just want to let you know that. So right now, what I'd like you to do is make sure that you turn off OBS. So I'll go to File in the upper left-hand corner and click Exit. And I want you to go into the search bar in the lower left-hand corner of your computer and type in Hidden Files. And click it. And it's going to open up a window, and I want you to scroll down until you see Change Settings to Show Hidden and System Files. Click the Show Settings link to the right of that, and it's going to open up a little window. Here's what it looks like. And if you scroll down and look for that second yellow folder, you'll see something that says Show Hidden File Folders and Drives. Click that radio button, hit apply, and hit OK. That guarantees that you will see all the necessary folders that we need to copy manually for the backup. Okay, so we'll close out this window. And I also want to draw your attention to 7-zip. I'm going to ask you to install this program. It's 100% free. It's a little bit more robust than the default zip program that resides with Windows 10. And I'd like you to use it instead of the other program. You can find it at 7-zip.org. Terrific program. You're going to love it. Install it. Let's move on to the next section. Okay, let's open up the File Explorer and go to your C drive and select Program Files and scroll down until you see the OBS-Studio folder. Now, I highly recommend that you change the yellow folder to something else so that you can find it quickly. In my example, I've changed it to a red icon. Let me show you real quick how to do that. It's pretty simple. Right-click on it, go to Properties, select Customize, change icon, select your icon here, hit OK and apply, and it's good to go. I'll just cancel out because I've already done it. That'll help you find it a lot easier, and you're going to go back in here and do this quite often if you're going to run a lot of backups from time to time. So go inside of this folder, and the first thing that I noticed here is that the Stream Effects plugin that I installed has an uninstall.exe file. That tells me one thing, and that is Stream Effects is a quality program. It is not garbage, okay? I want to let you know. If a plugin creates an uninstall.exe file, that's a good sign. Regardless, what I'd like you to do is go in here and highlight all the folders, okay? And then click the Share tab here and select Zip. And Windows 10 will zip up all the files for us. Boom, all done. Okay, we want to rename this to OBS-program, okay? It just lets us know that it's the program files. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to click Control-X to cut it, and I'm going to go to the location where I'm going to show all my backup folders. That's in my F drive, and I'm going to go into the OBS backup folder that I've created, and as you can see, I've changed it to that red icon so I can see it easily. I'll double-click it, and I'm going to right-click and click New Folder. Now, the way that you name this is crucial. Watch, name it like this. Trust me, this is a good tip. 2021, year, month, 03, and then the day, 22. Is it today? Yeah, 22. Dash, and then describe what's on the OBS program at the time of creating this backup. So I'm going to say 22 scenes, and it contains the what is it? Oh geez, Stream Effects plugin. Okay, just gives me a little hint as to what the backup contains. All right, I'll double click it and go inside and hit Control V and paste in the obs-program.zip file. We're almost done. We have to do one more thing. Go back into the C drive. Go into Users, select your username, in my case it's Scott. Select App Data. If you didn't have the files unhidden, you would not see this folder. Now you do because you've made it so that you can see this folder. Double click it. Click Roaming. And again, you look for the OBS-Studio folder. As you can see, I've got that icon in there. So double click it, highlight all this stuff, and select the zip icon again in the Share tab. Now watch what happens. I get this wacky prompt. It says Windows unable to add one or more empty directories to the compressed file. I don't know why this error occurs. All I know is 7-zip does not give me this prompt. So if I hit OK to this and just get rid of it, I'll delete the zip file that it created real quick. Highlight these folders again, right click, click 7-zip and add to archive. Hit OK. Boom, it works. These folders are much smaller than the program folders, so it happens much quicker. I'm going to right click on this and select rename and type this in as OBS app data. Okay. I'll highlight it. I will hit Control X. I will go into my backup folder again. There it is right there. Go into today and paste. Okay. So now what we're going to do is restore the previous backup to show you the changes that occur. Here we go. Okay, we'll go into the drive containing my backups, which is my F drive. I'll go into the OBS backup folder that I created for myself. And I'm going to go to that previous backup containing no plugins and 24 scenes. I'll double click that. And I'm going to expand both of these folders because I just want to make sure that the integrity of the files are there, and I just want to make sure that we're good to go. So I'll right click on OBS programs.zip and click 7-zip and extract files. Hit OK. I will then do the same thing for the OBS app data zip file. I'll just take a peek inside both of these and make sure that they are in there. It looks like they're solid. Very good. Okay, the next step is to go into the C drive, go into Program Files, OBS Studio, and delete these files. Now, why do I say this? This is interesting. Windows 10 will not allow you to overwrite existing files in Program Files. And I did a lot of research trying to figure out the best way to accomplish this, and the simplest way is to delete the folders and files and then copy in the old ones. It's just one of those things. If anybody has a better solution for this, I would love to hear it. Based on my research, this is the easiest way. So what I don't want you to do is click the Shift button and then delete, because what it'll do is it will not put it in the trash can. It'd be nice just to have these files in the trash can, just in case something goes sideways. It won't, but just in case something goes sideways, you can restore back from the trash can. So just click the delete key. We hope that something is said and done and delete them and put them in the recycle bin. Worship with us again. You are welcome. Okay, good. Now we'll go back to the F drive, go into my backup folder, and go into the program folder that expanded, highlight all these files and folders, hit Control C, go back to C, go back to Program Files, look for my red folder, and paste. Hollywood children and youth, are you ready to reconnect? Awesome, they're back in there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for the app data. So let's go to C, we'll go into users, and so much Scott, more that will be happening in our youth department. Roaming, we are ready to reconnect OBS-Studio, and get back in action. Delete these. Just click the delete key. It'll put it in the trash can. Hollywood children and youth, are you ready to reconnect? Go into my F drive. Join us this upcoming November as we have our youth night, highlight all these where we older files, exciting news, upcoming events, and so much more that will be happening in our youth department. We are ready to reconnect and get back in action. There we go. Kapow. Hollywood now we will close this out and we will take a look at OBS Studio and see if everything is back. As we have our youth night, where we give exciting it looks good. This was some old file, some weird thing I did. That will be happening in our youth Stream Effects is not there. I have 24 scenes. Let's see if my filters are still there. I'll go to filters. There they all are. 3 filters that I used to have. Please submit a copy of your child's report card. Let's see if my settings are the way they used to be. I used, I believe, by November 9th. 264 as my encoder. We'll go to output, I think it is. We will continue our fall break. There it is, encoder 264. Yep, it's all back. Now removing any kind of a funky plugin is going to be super easy for you, and you can experiment with any new plugins without any worry.
We will continue
One of these
our
new
fall
plugins
break
that you
for Bible
absolutely
study,
have to check
and we'll
out
resume
is called the
Bible study on
OBS
November 9th.
shader filter plugin, and what makes it really cool is that it creates these wicked cool smooth moving
We will
animations
continue our
that
fall
are
break
generated
for Bible
from
study,
mathematical
and we'll
equations.
resume Bible
I've created a
study on
tutorial that
November
will show you
9th.
how to install it and show you some demonstrations from this plugin, which are absolutely fantastic.
Our fall break
I can't wait to
Bible
show you.
study,
I will see
and
you
we'll
over there.
resume Bible
Get
study
some.
on November 9th. We will continue our fall break of Bible study, and we'll
To capture the audio output on your computer first, before you do anything in OBS, you need to double check that it's working properly and it's set up properly. In Windows, you can go down here to the bottom. In Mac, there's a similar setting. Go to your audio icon at the bottom of your desktop, right-click and go to Sound Settings. It'll pull up this menu, and you can quickly troubleshoot whether you have the right output device selected by going to this drop-down menu right here and selecting the proper output device. But sometimes that doesn't confirm necessarily that you have everything set up properly to output audio from your computer. So you can scroll down this menu and go to your sound control panel, a menu that's hidden in Windows now. Click that and boom, it'll show you all of the different output devices on your computer that are available. And so what you'll want to do, just to confirm that your output device is outputting at all, go ahead and play a YouTube video. For example, I'm playing a YouTube video, or play a song, or play anything at all on your computer that will give you audio output. And then take a look at your devices here in this list and see if the one that you want to actually output and capture in OBS has some levels. As you can see, mine has some levels right here, my Focusrite USB, but potentially it might not. Or another device may end up having the levels, okay? So what you can do to fix that before you go into OBS is you can actually disable the devices that you don't want to output to, and you can right-click on whichever device you want to be the default device and set it to the default device as well as the default communications device. And that will move everything audio-wise, output-wise, over to the device that you want to capture in OBS. Cool. Now that that's done, now that you confirm that you have levels on the output device that you want to capture in OBS, it's very simple. Go down here to Sources and hit the plus button here to add a new source in OBS. Plus, and go up to Audio Output Capture. So input captures for capturing microphones, capture cards, webcams, whatever. Output capture is to capture whatever your computer is outputting in terms of audio, what you can hear. So go to Focus. I'm going to type in Focusrite Solo because that's the name of mine. Name yours, whatever yours is called, and hit OK. You'll get this property menu where you can select whichever device that you want. I do not recommend selecting default here. I recommend selecting, and by the way, uncheck device timestamps. I don't like that. I recommend manually selecting the device that you want to capture. Mine is a USB device. Yours could be a mixer. Yours could be speakers. Yours could be whatever it is. And once you select the device, you'll start to see the levels here in OBS in your audio mixer, which will confirm that you are now capturing whatever it is that that device is outputting. So if you decide that you want to start a recording or you want to do a live stream over here in OBS, over here on the side, then you will actually be recording whatever is outputted on your computer. So let's say you want to capture a video playback, or let's say you want to capture a live stream, or you want to capture something that has audio that you can play on your computer, such as a YouTube video. This is the way to do it. This is how you capture that output device, and now you can manipulate it in the audio mixer. Look, this is just one of many features in OBS, and it can become quite complicated. I'm happy to help you guys in one-on-one coaching. I'm almost fully booked right now. I have a few sessions left. So if you want to jump in there, you can jump on a one-on-one video call with me. I can help you resolve your technical issues at awaldigital.com. You just literally select your date. Yeah, I only have a couple left on this day. Select your time, input your information, and boom, I'm on a one-on-one call with you, helping you with your YouTube strategy, streaming strategy, or your technical items.
You guys know that I don't keep any secrets on my stream. That's literally why I started this YouTube channel, so I can show you guys everything about how my stream is set up and then you can get some inspiration, go away and create something unique for your own stream. Or, you know, you could just straight up rip off my stream. Thief. One of the things that I use to create my advanced stream layouts in OBS are plugins. And basically what a plugin does is it adds extra features to OBS that it doesn't have by default. I'm going to show you guys 5 of the plugins that I use to create some of the effects that you're seeing on screen right now. Now, if you aren't aware, I've already done a video on 5 OBS plugins. You can check it out by clicking on the eye thing or wherever it is nowadays. For reference, here are the 5 plugins that we covered in that video, but today we're going to be looking at 5 more plugins. Now, as you're watching this video, you may have seen some of these plugins before, maybe you haven't, but come on, man. It's like really hard to make original content on YouTube, dude. I'm going to be focusing on plugins that I personally think add a lot of value to your stream and just make your stream more fun and engaging. Hey. What's up, guys? It's Nutty. Before we talk about OBS plugins, I want to address one thing. No, Gavin, these do not work in Streamlabs OBS, so don't ask me. Now, if you want to browse a list of every single plugin currently available for OBS, I'll leave a link in the description box down below. You can browse through the list. There's a few pages of them. The process of installing each plugin usually varies depending on who made the plugin, but generally speaking, you usually download a zip file. You go to where your OBS install is, and then you just unzip the zip file right on top. The zip file will usually contain a data folder and an OBS plugins folder, which match the root folder of your OBS install. So all you need to do is merge those folders and then relaunch OBS. That is the basics out of the way. Let's move on to the list. We're gonna hit it off with my all-time favorite plugin. Actually, are we? Maybe I should leave this one to the end. That way people have to watch my video longer. Dude, that would have been way smarter. Screw it, I'm just gonna do it right now. The plugin is called Move Transition. Now, shout out to the random dude who left a YouTube comment. He's the guy who made this, and I would never have even known about this plugin if he didn't tell me about it. Now, you're probably aware that in OBS, you can set up a bunch of different transitions so that when you switch between scenes, you can have like a boring cut transition or fade transition. Or if you're fancy, you probably set up a custom stinger transition, which I made a tutorial for. Go check that out. But what if you wanted to animate your scene transition? So let's just say you have 2 scenes, one that you have your big camera and then another where you have your small camera. And when you switch between them, you want to animate your camera so that shrinks down. That's what Move Transition does. It just adds a new option in your scene transitions menu called Move. And then every single time that you switch between scenes, it will animate every single source in your scene composition. Okay, time out, Nutty. I've already seen this before. You covered that in your first video. First of all, watch your language. Second of all, kind of. See, the plugin that was in the first video was a different plugin called Motion Effect, and it kind of does pretty much the same thing, but check this out. I'm gonna play a transition that used Motion Effect, then I'm gonna play a transition that uses this new Move Transition plugin. And you can just see how much smoother this new plugin is than the old one. So how do we set this up? First, go to your scene transitions, click the plus button, and you'll see a new option there called Move. From there, the properties menu will open up, and then you can change some of the properties. You can change the position in and the position out options. That's just gonna tell the plugin where each source animates from. I like to set the position in and position out to none. I just think that looks better. You'll see what I mean when you try it out. And then you can also adjust the curve property. Again, I like to just leave this at 0, but play around with it, see what works for you. After that, you can just press OK, and then you can start switching scenes. And damn, dude, look at that. Look how pro your stream looks now. Now, some of you may be thinking, if Move Transition is so much better than Motion Effect, do I still need Motion Effect? And the answer is maybe. Motion Effect still has some features that Move Transition doesn't have. Like, for example, you can animate individual sources if you want to. So if you just wanted to hit a hotkey and only move just your camera, you'd have to use Motion Effect for that. So that's a feature that I'd like to see come to Move Transition. But for now, you can use Motion Effect. Okay, don't listen to that guy. He has no idea what he's talking about. I filmed this video like 3 weeks ago, and apparently they put out an update since then that allows you to animate individual sources. So go get that update. Also, some of the menus that I just showed you are gonna look different, but I don't really feel like re-recording the video. Cause like, what are you crazy? You expect me to put effort in this video? Okay, next plugin. This is gonna be for anyone that uses background music from something like Spotify, which I'm guessing is a lot of you. Have you ever found music from Monster Cat on YouTube and it's got that cool little visualizer thing that animates as the music plays? Like, that's cool, I want that. Yeah, that's pretty much what this plugin does. It's called Spectralizer. Now this one's pretty easy to set up. There's gonna be a new option when you're adding a new source in OBS called Audio Visualizer. And then once you have it added, you just select the audio source where your background music is coming from, and it pretty much just works right away. Now there are options you can play around with, like you can change like how high the bars go, how many bars there are, and how thick the bars are, but I'll let you guys play around with it and figure it out for yourself. Now here's the thing, a lot of you guys are gonna see this Audio Visualizer plugin, and then you're just gonna copy exactly the same thing that they do in the Monster Cat videos. And that's cool if you wanna do that, but I highly recommend that you play around with it and try to think of clever ways that you can use this plugin. Like for example, I use this on my starting soon screen, and I have 2 copies of this Audio Visualizer mirrored, and I've lowered the opacity and just put it in the background so it's a little more subtle and not so in your face. Or you can do what this guy did. He's got like this tiny widget that shows his local time in his time zone, but on top and bottom of this widget, he's got 2 copies of the Audio Visualizer plugin, and then he set it to react to his voice. So every time he speaks, the visualizer moves. So I just thought that was a really clever way of using this very simple plugin. But whatever you do, just try to think of something creative. Don't put like these gigantic obnoxious bars over your stream. Like, we get it, man. You still think beatboxing is cool. Just chill out, homie. All right, so the next plugin. This one is so underrated, but it is so powerful, and it is called OBS Shader Filter. Basically what this plugin does is it adds a new filter that you can add to any source and apply shaders to it. Now, if you don't know what a shader is, you can think of it like an effect that you can apply to your camera or your game or literally anything. Like for example, you can make it look like there's a piece of glass between you and your camera, or you can make it look like your camera's pixelated like an old 16-bit SNES game, or you can even set like a source to rotate, which is something you can't even do in OBS. You can even create your own shader, but I'm guessing if you knew how to do that, you already know about this plugin. Now, all you have to do to apply a shader to a source is you just go to the filters for any source that you want, add a user-defined shader, and then click the checkbox that says load shader text from file. From there, you can browse a list of all of the pre-installed shaders. Try each one. A lot of them don't work, but just try each of them. There's a lot of really cool ones in there. Now, using each of these shaders on their own might seem gimmicky, and I get that, but hear me out, because trust me, this plugin opens up so many doors to creative and unique fun ideas that are just going to make your chat think, how did he do that? Here's an example that I use in my stream. I've added a plugin called Zoom Blur, and basically all that does is it makes my camera pulse in and out, and it's all right, it's okay on its own. But check this out. On top of that, I added these party lights, then I chucked on these anime speed lines and put on some Wii music in the background. Then I set it up using last week's video, check that out. I set it up so that every time I get a host, it does this. But the last video I did was on RTX voice, and yeah, you don't need an RTX start for it. What? But that is just a taste of what you can do using shaders. I actually have some really insane ideas that involve combining shaders with an upcoming feature coming to RTX graphics cards that literally no one is talking about. I'm gonna have to save for another video because I'm just exploding with ideas right now. Keep an eye out for that, because trust me, it's gonna be crazy. Okay, what are you up to? Plugin number 4. This next plugin is called Closed Captioning, and as the name suggests, yeah, it adds captions to your stream. Look, I get it. Did anyone ask for this? No, I've never had any deaf people watch my stream or anyone ask for captions except for one person. You know who you are. There are a lot of ways to add captions to a stream. There are websites that can do it. There are Twitch extensions that can do it. But did you know that the Twitch player itself natively supports captions? It's just that when you stream using OBS, you're not sending any of that data over to show the captions on your stream. That is exactly what this plugin does, and it works off the Google Speech API. So it's gonna be about as accurate as when you talk to your phone or use Google Home. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Nutty, my Google Home never understands what I'm saying. Won't this be just as bad? You're goddamn right it is. Yeah, it does make a lot of mistakes, and I could sit here and lie to you like, hey, this is gonna make your stream more accessible to people who can, hear your stream. But I gotta be real, the only reason why I added this is because sometimes it's fun to have captions there and then laugh at the mistakes that it makes. Like this. Who's Catherine? I don't know any Catherines. Just one thing to add, because the captions work natively with the Twitch player, your viewers can just turn off the captions if they think it's annoying. So no harm done there. This last plugin is going to be more of a convenience thing and not really something that your viewers are going to be able to see. If you're the kind of person who takes a lot of screenshots, maybe you're an artist, or you just want to capture a small portion of your screen, check out Scrab. Basically, it adds a new hotkey to your settings that says capture screenshot. And when you hit that hotkey, it's going to bring up this region selector. And then you can just highlight a region on your monitor and then hit enter, and it'll automatically add a new image source to the current scene in OBS. And then from there, you can treat it as a normal image source, so you can just zoom into it if you want, or delete it if you just want to add it temporarily. What I think this would be really useful for is if you're doing like React content and you see something funny that is really small, you can like take a quick screenshot of it and then zoom into it so your chat can see it better. I don't know. If this is something that's going to be useful for you, then you'll know. Get that out of here. So those are 5 plugins that you can install today, as well as the other 5 plugins I did in the other video. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know which plugins that you're using for your stream. I gotta be honest with you, I would really like to do another top 5 video for OBS plugins, but I've pretty much gone through every plugin that I use. So if there's anything I've missed, anything that might be super cool that I could do a video on, let me know. I'd love to try it out. I love testing new things and playing with new things and just trying to make my stream like take it to like the next level. If you guys would like to talk to other people who are looking to upgrade their stream, make your stream look dope and fantastic and all that stuff, check out the Discord link down below. Also, what was I supposed to say? Oh yeah, that's right. I have a Twitch stream. I stream 4 nights a week. There's a link down below for that as well. If you want to ask me any questions you want, we're always talking about streaming stuff and we're in just chatting. So I love answering questions live. I don't know how to end videos.
Warning! This guide is for OBS Studio. It will not work for Streamlabs OBS. Please refrain from asking if this works in slobs in the comments.
Sorry, I'm behind. Sorry,
I'm about to show you the secret to all the effects that you're seeing right now, like the camera shaking, the pixelated filter, the glitch filter, just a ton of really cool visual effects. All of these effects are done entirely within OBS Studio using these things called shaders. So let's talk about shaders, what they are, how to install them, and then go through my personal list of my favorite shaders and where to download them. And by the way, if you already know what shaders are and you've tried them and you're experiencing problems like black screens or crashing for OBS, yeah, you might want to stick around. Hey, you! Stop playing Apex and pay attention to me, because I want to tell you about this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of different classes to help you learn how to create really great content. They've got a ton of classes covering topics like design and photography, but what I think is really useful is they have a whole section just on film and video, and it's filled with really practical and useful stuff. For example, they have a class called iPhone Filmmaking from Caleb Babcock and Niles Gray. Now, I don't know who these people are, but I can tell you one thing. They're really great people to learn from, but it's a really practical class that shows you how to create really high quality videos just using your phone, from different apps to use to different lenses you can buy, so you don't have to spend $1,000 million to get all this different camera gear that you don't even know how to use. None of the classes have any ads, so you can stay focused on improving your skills. So if you want to learn more, click in the link down below, and the first 1,000 of you guys will get a free trial of their premium membership. And after that, it's just $10 a month for an annual subscription. Okay, so shaders. What the hell is a shader? So you can think of a shader as a thing that manipulates the way that an image looks. I know that's not technically correct. You know, computer nerds, get over it, okay? We're normies here. It's close enough. In this case, we're going to be using shaders to manipulate the way our camera looks, or really any source in OBS. So for example, here's a shader that makes my camera look like a 4chan copy pasta. Now, to apply these shaders, you're going to need a plugin for OBS Studio called OBS Shader Filter. I'll leave a link down below for that. But the plugin comes with a ton of different shaders pre-installed for you to try out. Now, some of them work, Some of them don't work, some of them are buggy, some of them straight up crash OBS. That's why I'm making this video, but we'll get there. So for now, click in the link down below and download the OBS shader filter plugin. You'll see a zip file. You want to take that zip file and unzip it to wherever you have OBS Studio installed, usually in your C drive under program files. Then open up OBS Studio and right click on your camera and go into filters. Now, when you click on the plus sign, you should see a new option that says user defined shader. Now, if you don't see that option there, then you didn't follow my instructions, Duncan, okay? Or maybe you did and something else went wrong. So I'm not Bill Gates, I can't fix every single problem. Next, click load shader text from file and you should see a dialog box which takes you to all of the pre-installed shaders that come with the plugin. So I'll do a quick example here. So we're gonna click on load shader text from file and then we're just gonna browse and we'll use this frosted glass shader. You can see this shader puts a really interesting pattern on top of our camera. But you'll also notice that underneath, you've got all of these different settings. Now the settings that you see here are gonna be different depending on which shader that you use. Every shader is gonna have a different set of settings here. And just to demonstrate that, we're gonna load up a different shader now. So we're gonna browse, and this time we'll use our emboss shader. So this gives like a papery texture to our camera. And you can see the settings underneath are completely different. Now, one thing to note, as you're looking through the list of shaders, you'll see that some say .shader and some say .effect. If you're gonna use a file that says .effect, make sure that you check the checkbox that says use .effect file. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Huh, we're only 4.5 minutes in. Well, I need this video to be 8 minutes long so I can put mid-roll ads in the video, plus it's better for the algorithm, so we're gonna keep going. So we're gonna use the rest of the video to go through 5 different effects that you can do using shaders, and I'll show you guys which shaders to use and how to use them without crashing OBS. By the way, I forgot to mention, we have a free download pack of about a dozen different shaders made by members of the community, aka Exeldro and Leorn. And you can download that by going into the Discord, link in the description box down below, and going into the design files section and downloading the OBS shader filter pack. So this one has a bunch of cool shaders. You can look through the list. It's got some glitch shaders. It's got some cool chromatic aberration filters. Check it out. It's pretty awesome. Okay, cool. On with the rest of the video. All right, so the first effect is the party pulse effect, and this is one that I use every time I get raided in my stream. So I use Leorn board to activate all the filters that I need. And the main shader that we use for this is the zoom blur shader. This one comes pre-installed with OBS shader filter, and it just does this nice pulsing animation with some motion blur. And what I like to do is I like to adjust the speed parameter so that it matches the hype music that I have playing in the background. Now you might notice that the zoom blur shader does this weird flashing thing with your camera, and I can't seem to get rid of it. So alternatively, what you could do is instead of using the zoom blur shader, you could also use the pulse.effect file. And that one does a similar type of pulsing effect, but it doesn't have the motion blur. Oh my gosh, is that
RTX off.
Nerdo RD? The next effect is one that we've called in my stream the RTX off effect, and it basically just takes our camera and makes it look like hentai. It makes our camera look super pixelated. So this one is really easy. We just use the pixelation shader. Again, this one comes pre-installed, and we just add that in, and then under your target width and height, we just make this a really low resolution. So we can set it to something like 32 by 18, and then there you go. Camera is super pixelated. This is one that you can activate using channel points on my stream. So what I did as a nice finishing touch is I added these Final Fantasy type menus that go scroll through the menu and then turn RTX off, and then at the end it turns RTX back on. I thought it was just a really nice touch to make it fun for my viewers. The next effect is one that I guarantee will crash OBS. That was so dumb. Okay, this one, as I was saying, will crash OBS. This one uses the shake effect filter, and this shader just, it does what it says. It shakes your camera, just makes your camera go crazy. This is the one I get asked about the most. It comes pre-installed with the OBS shader filter, but it will crash your OBS. So let me show you what that looks like and how to make it not do that. So I got OBS loaded up here. I'm gonna click load shader text from file, and I'm gonna browse for that shake.effect file. load that up, and then I'll click use effect file, and everything's gonna stay black. And then I'm gonna maybe click load reload effect, and OBS is just completely hung. Like it just crashed out of nowhere. All right, now here's the solution. We're gonna go and add the shader again. We're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna load shader from text file. We're gonna select that shake.effect file, select use effect file, and then immediately close OBS. Just shut it down. Then we're gonna launch OBS again, go back into your filters for your camera, and that shader that you just added should work now. So we're gonna change some of these values. We'll turn on warble, and then we'll set the speed to 100, and maybe the growth pixels, we'll set this to 200. And you can see the camera filter, the shaking effect, totally working now. But that's how you do the shake filter. I've seen people do some crazy stuff like manually changing the position of their camera like 50 times a second. Don't do that, okay? That's crazy. Just use this filter, super simple. As for how I get the lights behind me to flash red and for these lights to shut off automatically, you're gonna need to stay subscribed to figure out how I did that, because we're gonna cover that in a separate video. No. I bet if I try a 3080, I'm gonna want one. I'm gonna be disappointed when I can't get one. All right, so any of you guys ever played Yoshi's Island before? This isn't a live stream, so you guys can't answer my question, but there's a level in that game called Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy, and it's a level where when Yoshi touches these little fuzzy dudes, the camera gets all wavy and stuff, and Yoshi's all dizzy and hallucinating. It's a hilarious kids game. Well, Leorin wrote a custom shader that replicates that same wavy effect from Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy. So that shader, it's available in our custom free shader pack. It's called Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy, so you know where to find it. But I pretty much just added that to my camera, and then on top of that, I also added a rainbow shader to make my camera flash rainbow colors. And to complete it, I initiate the effect using that sound effect when Yoshi touches the fuzzy in Yoshi's Island. I bet if I try a 3080, I'm gonna want one. I'm gonna be disappointed when I can't get one. What will be the new
channel point reward?
All right, so the next one is a very special one because I worked on it just for this video. I'm going to be calling this one the Lucifer effect. So for this one, I basically made it so that my camera looks like I'm streaming from the depths of hell. I mean, I am, but now I'm just gonna make my camera look the part. So for this one, I actually used a bunch of different filters and shaders. The first one was just a simple color correction filter to make my camera look red. And then I added the embers.effect shader, which adds the ember flamey sort of thing on top of my camera. Now, as for actually adding the fire animation, that's actually not a looping video. That's actually another shader. So this one is the fires3.effect shader. Again, pre-installed with OBS shader filter. And then to top it all off, we use the Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy shader from the last one to add the little waves. So it kind of sells it. It kind of gives like the little heat waves effect to my camera. But that's pretty much it. Oh, by the way, I also added a voice changer effect using the video I made 2 videos ago. But yeah, I did the voice changer effect to make my voice really deep, to make me really sound like Lucifer. So there you go. That's a summary on shaders. I hope you guys enjoyed. Guys, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite shader is. And if you know how to make your own shaders, please join the Discord, share your shaders there. If you got any cool effects, I would love to see them. And if you want to see these effects in action, come join me on my Twitch stream. I stream 3 nights a week on twitch.tv/nutty. Join me there. I'll see you guys next week. And I'm just gonna leave. I don't know how to end videos.
Hey everyone, Chris with Coalition Gaming here, and Stream Elements has come out with a new plugin for OBS that's going to streamline a few things. So let's check that out. It's always nice when a live streaming service or live streaming partner or somebody that provides value to live streaming releases tools to make live streaming easier, because a lot of the time you're going to have a million different windows open And that's not always convenient. It's not always easy to manage. But on top of all that, what really the problem is having so many windows open also is taxing on your system, depending on your system configuration. So you can have a bunch of windows open. It's going to cause you to lose FPS or other performance degradation possibly, especially if you're using one single system to stream, or if you're offloading to another system but you're still managing everything from the main gaming rig. So it's always nice, like I said, when companies like Stream Elements release a tool to help with all that. So Stream Elements released OBS Live. It's a new plugin, and you go to streamelements.com/OBS Live, and you get to see this website right here. Well, so it's the easiest way to manage your stream, all-in-one streaming solution, chat and activity feed included. And for the most part, the basic stuff here, say goodbye to clutter. That's sort of gets what is part of what I'm saying. Replay, skip, and mute. That's actually kind of cool, because if a lot's going on and you want to skip some notifications or stuff's pouring in too much, you could skip, replay, or mute alerts that came through there. And then you can manage stuff through there as well. And it really is, as it says, seamless integration to OBS. So you download it, install it. You're going to get a shortcut called Stream Elements OBS.live. And then once you open that shortcut, it will prompt you to connect with your Twitch account. Now, this is right now optimized just for Twitch. So, it is what it is. If you use other streaming services, you're sort of stuck. However, if you use Restream, which I'll have a tutorial linked right over here, Restream also has something called a replay bot. So if you're a multi-stream person like we like to do, to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, you can use the Restream chat bot and relay the chat, and you can watch the Twitch chat and it will show you the chat messages from your other services if you multi-stream. So that could work in that situation. However, this is Twitch focused. It's a Twitch tool. So again, once it's installed, let's bring up OBS and we're going to see the Infinite Abyss. Woo! Infinite Abyss. And you'll get your normal scene layout once it's all installed. So basically, I'm going to reconnect my streaming account. This is what it looks like when you first launch it. And then I'm going to go here, log in, Coalition Gaming Crew, and here we go. Boom. And look at that. Your tools are, well, you have some more stuff here, but on the left, my activity feed. On my right, you have the chat messages. So all the chat messages will appear here. As you can see, it all comes in on this side, and you have your main window. You still have your normal scenes. So like if you have your normal gaming scene, you see how that appears there. I have my talking scene here. You see that appears there, but everything is still on the side. Everything is still normal. And it's really nice that it's all included now. So this gives it a look a little bit more like Bebo, which is a dedicated streaming software, which is nowhere near as flexible as OBS is. So it's really nice that now you have this sort of functionality inside of OBS for you to keep an eye on your stuff. Now up here at the top, you can get rid of this by clicking the X, or you can see here, supercharge your stream, chatbot, overlays, loyalty stream, tipping and alerts. You activate tools and it will come up the Stream Elements website, and see, this is where you're going to want to control all that stuff. And but for the sake of this video, we're going to keep it short and sweet. That's how you get it set up. That is OBS Live, and from what I'm hearing, it's very reliable, works very well. I'm really digging that it has the activity feed here, because a lot of times stuff may happen so quickly you don't even notice an alert. And instead of having a different web page up with an activity feed, or having to look somewhere else for that, you can just look at your OBS window and it has all the information for you right there. Check that out. And over here, like I said, all your chat messages here, and you can have one less window to worry about. Now, the activity feed here is here's your skip alert button, and then here's your reload overlays button. You can toggle the leaderboard, and you see here, you can see who was the top tipper. Weekly, I got snide, monthly, all time. It's all there. And then I believe there's maybe access to a little more as far as that goes, but this is the basics of it. This is what you're going to be looking at. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Chris with Coalition Gaming. Leave it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe. We always got more coming, and we'll see you all in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.
How many of you guys were told about a program called Voicemeeter and you look up a tutorial and the first thing you see is this thing? And you're like, what the hell does any of this mean, man? What am I, a scientist? I get it, it looks complicated and scary, but trust me, once you get the hang of it, it's actually really intuitive to use and probably the best free audio software that you're ever gonna come across for streaming. If you've never heard about Voicemeeter before, it's basically like a free digital mixer that you can use to separate audio like your game audio, Discord, or Spotify. So let's say, for example, you're playing a game and you're listening to music in your headphones, but you don't want your stream to hear that music because, I don't know, maybe you're listening to Michelle Branch or something and you're really embarrassed about it. You can mute the music just for your stream, but still have the game audio go out to all your viewers. You can also use Voicemeeter to process your mic's audio so it sounds really good for your stream. However, I don't recommend that because frankly, I think there are better solutions for processing your audio, which I've already done in another video. So we won't be covering any of the audio processing in this video, but we will break down Voicemeeter so that it's very easy to understand and show you how you can use it to have complete control of your audio for your stream. What's up guys, it's Nutty. So let's put aside actually installing Voicemeeter because it's really important that you have a really clear picture about what Voicemeeter actually does so that you understand how to actually use it for controlling your stream's audio. Let's start with how most people's audio is set up. You basically have OBS sending a single audio track to Twitch, which is eventually what your viewers hear. Your typical OBS setup will have two main audio sources. Your microphone is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically the thing that you make noises with your mouth into. And then you have this thing called desktop audio. And the way you can think of this is basically if you hear this in your headphones or your speakers, this is exactly what's going to be captured by desktop audio. In most cases, this is going to be the audio from all your programs. So from all the games that you're playing, Discord, Spotify, or anything you listen to music out of, all of those programs get combined down into a single audio source, which as you can tell is a problem because you as the streamer want to control what your viewers hear and what you hear individually. So we're going to scrap this whole setup and replace it with something else. Imagine a big box. And this box has a bunch of inputs and a bunch of outputs. You can think of your inputs as things that you can plug into this box. And those could be physical things like a microphone, or they can be programs on your computer like Spotify or Discord. Those physical things are what's known as hardware input devices, and those programs are what's known as virtual input devices. And this box happens to have 3 hardware inputs and 2 virtual inputs. Now the outputs on this box are things that hear audio. So again, these could be physical things like speakers or headphones that sound actually comes out of, or these could be programs that listen to audio such as OBS. Now this box has a bunch of buttons on them which can control which inputs go to which outputs. For example, I can plug in my game audio into one of these virtual inputs, then use this box and tell it to output the audio to my headphones and to OBS. But if I'm listening to music, I can plug in Spotify into another virtual input and then tell the box to only output that audio to my headphones and not output to OBS. So basically, the box that allows us to do all this stuff, this is what Voicemeeter is. All it is software that you can plug audio devices into and then route it to other devices that will receive that audio. So does that give you guys a clearer picture of what Voicemeeter does? Just say yes, Gavin, okay? Because I never want to do diagrams like that ever again in my entire life. So let's actually get into installing Voicemeeter. So I've left a link in the description box down below for where you can actually find the install. You'll notice that there's 3 different variants of Voicemeter. There's Voicemeter Regular, Voicemeter Banana, and Voicemeter Potato. And they're basically all the same. The main difference is that they just have a different number of inputs and outputs. We're gonna go with Voicemeter Banana because Voicemeter Potato has the most inputs and outputs, but it also costs money. You're also gonna want to install VB Cable Virtual Audio Device. I haven't told you what this is for yet, but this is gonna make sense in a little bit. By the way, I should have mentioned at the start of this video that this video is for Windows only. So if you're using a Mac, You just got pranked, son. After you've installed everything, it's gonna make you restart your computer. So when it restarts, just open up Voicemeeter Banana. This is what it's gonna look like when you open it for the first time. Now, like I said, I know it looks scary and complicated, so let me simplify this for you. Remember how I said earlier that we're not gonna be processing our mic at all in this video? Well, that means we can just ignore all of these controls because all of these controls are for controlling how your audio sounds. So we're not even going to touch any of these. We're also not going to be doing any recording in Voicemeeter. So this tape recorder thing in the corner, which, by the way, it's 2020, man. We don't use tape recorders anymore. So just get that out of here. Also, just a little pre-setup. Go into the menu and make sure auto restart audio engine is checked and run in system menu at startup. This will just make sure that Voicemeeter starts every time you restart Windows. So now we're just left with a bunch of columns, which are our inputs and our outputs. The 5 columns on the left are the 3 hardware inputs and the 2 virtual inputs from the diagram I showed you earlier. And the 5 on the right are the 3 hardware outputs and 2 virtual outputs. We're gonna set up our hardware output first so we can actually hear something. So just click on A1 and then a drop down will appear and just select whatever your headphones or your speakers are. You're gonna see each audio device listed multiple times, but with the prefix WDM or KS or MME. They're basically all the same audio devices, they just use different drivers. We're gonna choose the WDM version of our speakers. If you wanna set up a second device like headphones, you can set that in the A2 column exactly the same way. Next, we need to tell Windows to pass audio into Voicemeeter because right now, audio is still getting passed directly to your speakers or directly to your headphones. To do that, go into your control panel and then search for change system sounds, and then this window should pop up. In the playback tab, you'll see a list of devices, and one of the devices is gonna have a green check mark in it, which is probably gonna be your speakers or your headphones. This is the device that Windows is routing all of your audio into, and we don't want that. We want our audio to be routed through Voicemeeter. If you scroll to the bottom of that list, you're gonna see 2 devices that say Voicemeeter input and Voicemeter aux input. The naming is really confusing this, but basically Voicemeter input corresponds to that first virtual input in Voicemeter, and aux input corresponds to the second virtual input in Voicemeter. We're gonna choose Voicemeter input and select set default. And if you've done it right, you can start playing any audio. It could be a YouTube video, it could be music, your favorite hentai, I don't care, whatever you want. You should see the meter for the first virtual input moving up and down, and you should also hear the audio coming out of whatever device you set as your A1 hardware output. Now, if you have 2 hardware devices set up like I have, the first being your speakers, the second being your headphones, you'll notice that the audio is only coming out of your speakers and not your headphones. And the reason for that is because if you look at the first virtual input, you'll see these buttons that say A1, A2, A3, B1, B2. You'll see that we've only selected A1. So these buttons tell you where to route the audio. Okay, so far, this setup, not very useful. All of our audio is still being sent to this one virtual input. So all of our audio, Discord, music, it's still going through this one channel. So now we're gonna start to separate our audio out. We'll start easy. We're gonna pull out Discord's audio from the rest of our audio because right now Discord is still pointing at the same virtual input device that all of our audio is pointing to. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our Discord settings, go into voice and video, and then change our output device to Voicemeter aux input. Remember that the aux input corresponds to the second virtual input in Voicemeter. So now if you do a mic check in Discord and start talking to your mic, you should see the second meter in Voicemeter move up and down. Then you can use the A and the B buttons to choose which audio devices you want your Discord audio to come out of. So in my case, I want my Discord audio to come out of both my speakers and my headphones. So I'm gonna choose A1 and A2. So now your Discord audio is completely decoupled from the rest of your audio, but you're still gonna hear your teammates, you know, like calling you names because you're a terrible teammate in Apex, and then you're gonna be like crying because they're all bullying you and stuff. But nobody in your stream is going to be able to hear that because they can't hear the Discord audio. Now that may be how you want it set up, not the crying part, but you might want it set up so that you can hear your Discord and your stream can't. But chances are you probably do want your stream to hear the Discord audio. So how do we do that? You're going to go into OBS, go into your sources, right click and add an audio capture device. And you're going to set the device to your Voicemeter aux input. So this is basically going to capture all of the audio that's being fed into that second virtual input device. Then just make sure that you've added this audio output capture source into every single scene that you want your Discord audio to be heard. So this is a good setup. So every time you just want to mute your Discord audio so that your stream can't hear it, you just mute that audio source in OBS, and that'll just mute just your Discord, but leave the rest of your audio completely untouched. But let's say we wanted to add another layer of complexity to this and we wanted to add music to our stream. And let's say our music is coming in through YouTube in a Chrome browser and we want all that audio to come in yet another audio source in OBS. This is a bit complicated because you'll notice in Voicemeeter, we don't have any more virtual inputs anymore. So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna pull a virtual input out of thin air? Yeah, kind of. Remember how we installed VB cable? Basically what VB cable does is it allows us to turn one of our hardware inputs into another virtual input. Remember that these hardware inputs can only be used for things like a physical microphone, but by installing VB cable, we can plug another program like YouTube into one of the hardware inputs. To do that, we're gonna select input on our hardware input 1, and then we're gonna scroll down to where it says cable output. Then we just have to tell YouTube to point all of its audio to that VB cable output, because right now all of YouTube's audio is still going through the default Windows audio device, which is that virtual input device that we set earlier. How do we tell YouTube where to output its audio? If you go into your PC settings, go into sound settings, and at the bottom it should say app volume and device preferences. You can see a list of all the programs playing audio on your PC, and you can change the output device for each program. So if you're playing your music off Spotify or Chrome or whatever people play music off nowadays, you just need to change the output for that program to cable input. If you've done it correctly, the first hardware input in Voicemeeter should now be moving up and down when you're playing music or any audio from that program. Again, you can use the A and the B buttons again to decide which devices that audio comes out of. So again, I'm gonna set A1 and A2 on because I wanna hear the music in my headphones and in my speakers. Then in OBS, we can do exactly like we did for Discord. We just add another audio output capture device, select cable input as our device, and then now we have a third channel that we can route audio to. By now, you should have 3 audio devices in OBS plus your microphone, which you can all independently control without affecting each other, which will allow you to mute your Discord in your stream but still hear it in your headphones, or even allow you to mute your music in your headphones and still come out in your stream. You just have complete control over your audio now. But let's just say you wanted to go even crazier and add even more programs as separate channels at OBS because you know you're greedy and 3 just isn't enough for you. You can download up to 2 more of those VB cables. They're called VB cable A and VB cable B. By the way, all of the naming for all of these different channels really sucks for Voicemeeter. It's really confusing. Anyway, VB cable A and B are pretty much exactly the same thing as VB cable. It's just you get 2 more of them, but you do have to pay for them. But they do function exactly the same as VB cable. So if you want to turn your other 2 hardware inputs into virtual inputs, well then you can pay to download VB cable A and B. But that's gonna do it for this Voicemeeter tutorial. Guys, I know this video was not funny, okay? I could only fit like 5 jokes into that video, which is like way less than the number of jokes that I usually fit into videos. I even wore like an Elmo shirt today so I can like make you guys laugh, and you didn't even see it for the whole video. But if you'd like to laugh at my crappy jokes, come watch me on twitch.tv/nutty. I actually changed my name this week, so we're Nutella Forever, he's dead now. We're twitch.tv/nutty. Also, if you want more help for setting up your stream or setting up Voicemeeter because you couldn't figure it out through my crappy video, make sure to join the Discord, link in the description box down below. Other than that, this video is done. Class dismissed. We'll see you next time.
What's up guys, and welcome to Business Way channel. In today's video we are going to explain how to solve the problem of Streamlabs OBS whenever you start to open like this. This sometimes happening after you install it and work with Streamlabs, it will give you this message. So it will give you an error occurred which has caused Streamlabs OBS to close. So once you click yes, it will close. So how are we gonna solve this problem? You have to go to Streamlabs OBS website, download the software again. Even if you try to install it, it will never work. So what we can do in this situation, you can go to add and remove programs and then remove it. Just bear with me, it's not a matter of only removing. If you remove it and install it again, the same problem is going to happen. So what will be the solution? You can remove it from here, okay, like this, uninstall, and completely uninstall the software. But this is not enough. Uninstalling Streamlabs OBS and reinstall it, it's not enough. What you can do, you have to go to your user in C, and then users. After that, go to your user and then application data. It is hidden folder. If you don't have this folder appearing, then you should mark hidden items here to be appearing. If we remove hidden items, this folder will disappear. So you should mark hidden items to appear, and then go to application data, roaming, and go for these two folders, which is SLOP, clients and plugins. These two, delete them. Once they are deleted, now your problem is solved. Let us see the solution right now. Now we have Streamlabs OBS latest version downloaded in our system. Right click, run as administrator. It's very important to do this step. Yes, that's done. What I prefer actually, untick run Streamlabs OBS, finish, right click, run as administrator. Yes, it's gonna check for updates. We just downloaded fresh copy. I don't think any update will happen in one day. Anyway, some updates are there. It keeps always updating. Voila. Your OBS working again now, and there is no issue because these two folders contains some error which we have seen at the beginning of this video. So after that, the point is it's going to open as a new and fresh copy. This is only the problem, that you have to again log in with your Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is. So you are going to do this step again and log into your account. After that, things will be fine. You will find your templates which you have done inside. There is no problem in this, I believe, because I found it. I have done it before many times, so I decided to share with you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are interested in similar contents, not only in this, in anything related to business, mostly YouTube and streaming and other things which will grow your business and achieve your dreams, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so that you will not miss anything. I'll see you next video. Bye.
Hey, what's up guys, I'm Preet and you're watching Tech Scoop. I've been using the famous OBS Studio, and when I launched the OBS Studio for the first time, I was having this kind of widescreen problem. So I went on Google to find a fix for it. I found out that many people were having the same exact problem. Also, some of the people were having even a black screen problem. And there were many solutions available for it, but none of them worked for me. So I started digging further and finally came up with a solution. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix the black screen or white screen problem on OBS Studio. So let's get started. This problem mainly occurs when you use OBS Studio on laptop, and it's more of a display error. Let me explain why this error occurs. So the laptops, even gaming laptops, are designed in such a way that there are actually two video cards, or you can say graphics card, installed in them. One, you can say power saving video card, and the second one is the high performance video card. In my case, I am having an Acer Aspire R15, which is having an Intel's HD Graphics 620 as a power saving video card, and Nvidia's GeForce 940 MX as a high performance video card, or you can say graphics card. Most of the laptops, like 99% of the laptops, display is directly connected to the power saving video card in order to reduce the battery consumption. And when the laptop needs more processing power, it automatically activates the high performance graphics card to process the data, and then the data processed from high performance graphics card is sent to the primary graphics card, and then it is actually displayed on the screen. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a fact. So in order to get rid of the black screen or white screen problem on OBS Studio, go to Start menu, click on Settings, and search for Graphics Settings. You will find Choose an app to set preference option with a drop-down menu. Select Classic app in the drop-down menu, and then you'll be able to see OBS Studio below. If you are not able to see OBS Studio over here, then click on Browse and navigate to the location where you installed OBS. In my case, it is somewhere in C program files. Once you find the OBS 64.exe file, open it and click on it. Select Options. Now you will see the graphics specifications. Now I'm not sure which option out of 3 will be already selected for you, but change it to power saving option and launch OBS Studio. You'll be able to use it perfectly. But note that if you want to record or stream a gameplay, make sure to switch the graphics settings to high performance, because high-end games and software usually runs on high performance graphics card, and OBS Studio is designed in such a way that it only captures games or any software if they are running on the same graphics card as OBS. And that's all for this video. I hope you like it and this solution works for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out us via comments. Make sure to jam that like button, and also share this video. Also subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get notified. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.
You may have already seen a video on this channel that shows you how to do these cool animated transitions for your stream. If you haven't seen it, go click on the eye thing in the corner. We're gonna revisit that video today because who doesn't like recycling old content, you know? If you're new, there's a plugin for OBS that allows you to do these cool animated sliding transitions, kind of like what you're looking at right now. Here's the thing, the plugin that we covered already in this channel is super janky and old and outdated. There's a new plugin that's way better and way smoother. In fact, here, check this out. Here's some footage of the first plugin that we've already looked at, and now compare that to how this new plugin looks. And you can just tell the animations are way more accurate and just way better looking. But not only does it look better, it also has way more options. So many options that I'm not even going to be able to cover it in this one video, so I'm going to have to make multiple videos on this. Would you expect me to just give away all my secrets in one video just like that? For this video, we're going to be doing 3 different animations that you can do for your stream. The first will be a basic transition where every source animates every time you switch scenes. The second will allow you to slide your webcam to different positions on the screen using either hotkeys or something like a Stream Deck. And then there's a third one. What was the third one again? That's it, that's the one. So, have a seat, sit down. This is going to be a long one. What's up, guys? It's Nutty. Do all of these things, right? So I feel better about my life. So, animations. What are we going to be needing? In the old video we did, we used a plugin called Motion Effect. We're not going to be needing that at all anymore, so you can just get rid of that. You know, throw that in the trash, like Kobe. Instead, we're going to be using a newer plugin called Move Transition. Now, you may have already heard of this because I talked about it in my last top 5 OBS plugins video. But like I said, I'm recycling content because I'm a scumbag YouTuber. Got him, boys. Reeled them in. The reason I'm covering this plugin again, apart from ad revenue, is because when I did that video, this plugin was back on version 1.0. We're on 1.7 now. There's so many different things that have changed with this plugin. Speaking of plugins, I have to do the whole thing where I tell you guys, no, Catherine, it doesn't work in Streamlabs OBS. One of these days, I just got to do an entire video for why I don't use Streamlabs OBS. You guys keep asking me that, so probably going to do that pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead with the assumption that you already know how to install plugins. If you're new to plugins, then go click the last video I did and shows you briefly how to do that. So first animation, we're going to be doing the most basic thing, which I imagine is what 90% of people are going to be doing. We're going to be animating your scene transitions. So every time you switch scenes, all of your sources like your webcam, your game, they're all going to slide into position automatically. Now this may look complicated, but it's actually going to be the easiest thing that we do in this video. So all you need to do is go into your scene transitions, and if you can't see it, go into view, docs, and scene transitions. Then under scene transitions, you'll see a plus sign. Click that and you'll see a new option there called move. Please don't click the drop down because so many people message me, they click the drop down and they don't see move transition. They're like, dog, I don't see it, it's not working. You have to click the plus sign to add the transition first, and then it'll appear in the drop down. After selecting move, a properties window will open up with a whole bunch of options there. I'm not gonna go through all of the options, otherwise this video is gonna be like 40 minutes long. However, what you will notice is that there are 3 main sections. So you have matched items, appearing items, and disappearing items. So these options are gonna let you set how the animation appears. So let's say you're trying to switch from scene 1 to scene 2. Matched items are gonna be what happens to the sources that appear in both the first scene and the second scene. Appearing items are gonna be what happens to sources that don't appear in the first scene, but do appear in the second scene. And then disappearing items is just the opposite of that. Normally what I like to do is I keep the matched items section just default, but for the appearing and disappearing item sections, what I like to do is I like to set the position to none and then the transition style to fade. But just go ahead and play around with the settings, you'll figure out what each of them does. If you press OK, then you can set the duration for the animation. I think the default is a little bit too fast, so I set it to 750 milliseconds. And then yeah, you can just start switching scenes and everything should be working. Now a couple things to note. Sometimes you'll notice that when you're switching between scenes, you might be expecting some elements like your webcam to animate, but then what actually happens is it kind of just shrinks and then it grows in the second scene. Kind of weird to explain, but when you see it, you'll know what I mean. If this is happening to you, make sure you've done a couple things. One, if your camera is in a group or a nested scene on one scene and not in a second scene, then the move transition plugin is not going to recognize them as matching scenes, so it's not going to animate them. And you also need to make sure that the positional alignment and the bounding box type for each source is the same between scenes. If either of these things don't match up, then move transition isn't gonna animate them properly. But other than that, that's about it for animated scene transitions. It kind of just works automatically. Okay, so the second animation we're gonna be looking at is the sliding animation. So the way that this one works is we're gonna have some set of predefined positions for our webcam, and then we're gonna use like a hotkey, like a Stream Deck, to move our webcam to different positions on the screen. One of the things I hate is like when someone is playing Mario Maker and then they have like their giant webcam over the game and you're like, dog, I want to see Mario, man. Like, get your face out of the way. I don't want to see that unless you're cute, which let's face it, you probably are. So being able to slide your webcam around, I think is just a really nice way to improve the production of your stream just a little bit. We're going to be using a Stream Deck to move our camera around. But if you don't have a Stream Deck, that's okay. You can use hotkeys on your keyboard, or you can use a free app like Touch Portal. I'm not going to go into Touch Portal in this video because unfortunately the features that we need are not available in the current version of Touch Portal, but I have been told that it is coming in the next release. So when that happens, I'll do an entirely separate video. So how are we going to do this? The first thing that we're going to do is to right click on the scene that we want to move our camera around and then go into filters. Now it's really important that we're adding the filters to the scene and not any sources. You want to add it to a scene. Then we're going to add a move source filter for each position that we want our camera in. So in my case, I want to position my camera in each of the 4 corners of my screen. So I'm going to add 4 move source filters. Then for each of these filters, you want to set the source to the source that you actually want to move, which in my case is my webcam. Then for each filter, you want to move your camera into the position that you want it to be in. Then click Get Transform. That's going to save the position and the coordinates of your source to that filter. So each filter represents a different position on the screen. And then pretty much you can just scroll down to the bottom of each filter, click Start, and then it's going to move your camera into that position. So that's great. That's fantastic. Our camera's moving how we want it. But let's be real. When you're in the middle of a stream, you don't want to click like 800 times to go down to your filters and then scroll down to start. Like, you're just not going to do that, man. Your viewers are just going to be like, dude, what the hell, man? What the hell are you clicking on? Are you serious? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into each of the 4 filters, go down to the start trigger and set it to enable and disable. What that's going to do is every time you enable the filter, it's going to move the webcam into that position and then turn the filter off immediately after. So what that means is you can get a Stream Deck and then tell your Stream Deck to toggle each of these filters, and then that's going to move your camera into each of these positions. Here's the problem. A Stream Deck can't actually toggle filters in OBS. I don't know what's taking Elgato so long to add this feature, but please add that in. Elgato, I have so many ideas for things that you can add to the Stream Deck, so if you're watching out there, which, let's be real, you're not, but if you are, hit me up. Anyway, there is a way that you can toggle filters on a Stream Deck, and that is by installing an extension called OBS Tools. Now, if you've never installed an extension on your Stream Deck, go into the Stream Deck app, go into More Actions, type in OBS Tools, then install that extension, and just follow the instructions. It's pretty straightforward. Once you've done that, there will be a new option that you can add called Filter Toggle. So just add that to your Stream Deck, then enter the name of your scene as the source name, and then the name of the filter as the filter name. Now you're gonna have to manually type this in because there's no drop-down menu, so make sure when you're typing it in, type it in exactly. But yeah, just make a button for each of the 4 positions for your camera, maybe throw on a custom icon for it, and then bam, you're pretty much done. Just keep in mind, you are gonna have to hit the button on your Stream Deck twice to activate the filter. That's not a problem with the Move Transition plugin. That's a problem with the OBS tool extension. That's just how it works. The last animation we're gonna be doing is the dramatic zoom. This is one I added as a channel point reward to my stream, and everybody has just been blasting it. Wait, nobody do it first. No, stop. The way I did this is I stuffed my camera into its own nested scene. And the reason why I did this is because I want the dramatic zoom effect to work no matter what scene I'm on. If you don't know what a nested scene is, go watch my other video, but this is one of the scenarios where this makes sense. Anyway, what you should have is a blank scene that has nothing in it except for one source, and that is your webcam. You want to go into the filters for that scene and add just one move source filter. For this move source filter, you want to stretch your webcam so it's super zoomed in on your face, and then click on Get Transform. And then same as before, set the start trigger to enable and disable. But this time we're going to set the next move to reverse. Basically what this does is it runs the animation and then immediately reverses that action. So if you want to test what this does, right click on your camera and then reset the transform so it's back to its normal size. And then enable the filter, and what you'll notice is it'll zoom into your face and then immediately zoom out. But this isn't exactly what we want. What we want is for the camera to zoom in on our face, hold it for half a second, then zoom out. So that's really simple. All you have to do is change the end delay to 500 milliseconds, and then try the filter again, and then it'll zoom into your face, hold it, and then zoom out. It's really simple, but you can do the same thing as before, just bind this filter to your Stream Deck, and then you got your dramatic zoom. But yeah, that's pretty much it. 3 different ways that you can animate your stream. Now, one thing I think would be super cool with this is if you could do these sorts of animations, but do it in like a 3D space. Like for example, there's a plugin called Stream Effects that allows you to pan and tilt your camera. I think it would be super cool if you could do like this animated tilt effect. Well, guess what? I actually know how to do that, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it until you guys give me a tier 4 sub on my Twitch stream. I stream 4 nights a week. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time, so come hang out. It's loads of fun, especially when you guys give me money. You guys can also join the Discord, come share your creations, or just hang out. I promise, it's great. All right, video's over. What are you still doing here? Get out of here, man. Go watch one of my other videos. Unbelievable. Seriously, go watch one of my other videos.
Hey guys, welcome to another Gauging Gadgets Twitch tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add Twitch alerts to your Twitch stream via OBS. So first what you need to do is have OBS installed and configured with your Twitch account. If you still need to do that, check the link in the description. I'll have a tutorial down there that'll show you how to do that. But I'm going to assume that you already have this set up. So as you can see, I have a very simple scene set up. All I'm going to need to do is add those alerts. So we're going to be using a very simple website called Streamlabs, streamlabs.com. So you go there and select login to get started. ask you for your password, and then it's going to ask you to just go over here to the widgets area, play an alert once somebody has followed you, set up right here. So right here we have general settings. You could select the background color. You can enable a delay on the alert. You can also choose the layout. There's tons of options here. And this is just going to cover all the general alerts right there. Then we can select these tabs for all the different types of alert. So in this tutorial, we're only going to do followers. So in the options here, we have the ability to enable it. We can select the layout. We can have a fade in, fade out, so the alert kind of fades in and then fades out. You can add text to the template. You can have an animation. I'll kind of show you a sample. And then you could choose media. So some people like to have funny GIFs, things like that. You go into change media and you can upload files right here. So we can add a GIF, we can add whatever we want to, and that'll be displayed in that alert. Then down here for the sound, you can add any alert sound and that'll play as soon as that alert happens. So if you want to have a car horn or something, you could just add that media, and as soon as you get a follower, it'll play that audio. Right here, you can do the volume, alert duration, how long it stays on your stream, and then the text delay. So I'm going to leave most of these settings default for this example, but I am going to change two things. That's going to be the layout, so it includes an image, and then I'm going to change the image here, right here. So just click change image, and then to search your computer for the image, just select drag and drop. And then you have the image right there. We could select it. And now that will be displayed as my follower alert. Once we have this all configured, just go down to save settings. So the next thing we need to do is go up to the top and get our widget URL. So that's this URL right here. You can just select copy. Once we have this copied, we go back to OBS. We press the plus button for sources, and we're just going to add a browser source. So you can name this to whatever you want, follower alert. Now in here, we're going to change this URL to that widget URL. Change the width and the height, but it should work for these alerts. It should be fine with that height. You can customize this all later. Now I recommend the FPS to be whatever you're streaming. 30 is fine for me. CSS, that's more advanced, but you can try changing that if you'd like to. I'm going to leave it all default. So we'll press OK. And as you can see, it's kind of a clear box that is sitting over my stream. So in that simple step, we've actually configured the Twitch alert for followers. Now, one thing you want to do before you actually do this on a live stream is just test it, make sure it's working. And to do that, go back to Streamlabs, select test follow, and then on your stream in OBS, you'll be able to see that it actually did the alert exactly how we configured it. It's pretty cool and very easy. So that was a quick example of how to set up Twitch alerts for followers on Twitch. Now, if you're interested in doing it for any of the other types, such as subscriptions or donations, all you got to do is follow those same steps, but just go to the different tabs right here for donations, hosting, bits, everything like that. One more thing to keep in mind is you only need one source for all different types of alerts. Just make sure that you have all of the checkboxes above the URL selected. So that's how you configure Twitch alerts on Streamlabs via OBS. If you have any questions about this, leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're interested in other Twitch tutorials, check the link in the description to find the playlist of all my Twitch tutorials. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel, Gauging Gadgets, for more gadget reviews and tech tutorials. Thank you so much for watching.
Okay, so here I am. We're going to start the second tutorial now, and this tutorial will be to find unknown values, and let's do it. Alright, so I'm just going to touch to the game again. I have to restart the game for every tutorial because I need to stop and start recording, and that's pretty much how it works. So as you can see, as I mentioned in the first example, so let's click start adventure, start new game. As I mentioned in the first example, when you close the game and restart it, oh, this is a very odd situation. It's actually still 1,000. Let's have a look at this. Actually, I'm gonna spend that. See, yeah, so it is 1,000 as you see here, but it's not the same. It's not the same thing anymore. It has read from memory, but as you can see, we've frozen it and it's coming down, which means it's now a different address. So, which is why we'll later on find the static address, which is the one that never changes. So anyways, so what we're going to do in this tutorial, we're going to find an unknown value. So you don't always have numbers like this. That's the problem. You don't always have numbers like this in the game. Sometimes you have things like, as you can see here, there's a cooldown timer, as you can see, it's going up, and that's what we'll be using for this one. So this includes things like mana in games, if you're playing like something like Diablo, Also, if you're playing Modern Warfare, if you guys know, for example, when you get shot, your health goes red, but you have absolutely no clue what your health is. It goes red, and it slowly starts. Your screen starts becoming more clear, and this is the same method you'll be using if you wanted to find the health on that. So, what I'll be doing first thing is I'll be calling. So as you can see, I'm going to call a plant here, and I'm going to say stop the game. So as you can see, the value is stuck at the bottom. So I'm going to say. New scan, we're going to do a new scan, and we're going to search for an unknown initial value. So we don't know what the value is, we're going to search for an unknown one. And there we go, we got 268 million results. And what we do is go back into the game, let it go up a little bit, and then we say increased value. So if some of you guys prefer to use hotkeys for this is better, go on File, you got the settings option where you can use hotkeys instead of having to keep jumping back from the game to this. So I'm going to choose increased value because it's gone up a tiny bit. And let's see it filtering. Now, something I like to do here is I like to say unchanged value for quite a while because the value hasn't changed. That filters quite a few of them. So as you can see, we almost removed 1 million. So that removes just a bunch of crap. So let's go back into game, let it go up a little bit more, and search for increased value again. And here we are. So let's go again and search again. So it's gone up again a bit. There you go, 100,000. I'm just going to start putting some people here just because... and it's going up a little bit. I'm just putting a couple of guys around so I don't get killed, but don't worry about those, just focus on the sunflower for now. And as it goes up, let's search again for increased value, 3,000, and once again up, and then we get to the top. So we then call another one, and we back down, so we then look for decreased value. And this is the same method you'll be using if you wanted to find the health on that. So what I'll be doing first thing is I'll be calling... so as you can see, I'm going to call a plant here, and I'm going to say stop the game. So as you can see, the value is stuck at the bottom. So I'm going to say new scan. We're going to do a new scan, and we're going to search for an unknown initial value. So we don't know what the value is. We're going to search for an unknown one, and there we go. We got 268 million results. And what we do is go back into the game, let it go up a little bit, and then we say increased value. So if some of you guys prefer to use hotkeys for this is better, go on File. You got the settings option where you can use hotkeys instead of having to keep jumping back from the game to this. So I'm going to choose increased value because it's gone up a tiny bit, and let's see it filtering. Now, something I like to do here is I like to say unchanged value for quite a while because the value hasn't changed. That filters quite a few of them. So as you can see, we almost removed 1 million. So that removes just a bunch of crap. So let's go back into game, let it go up a little bit more, and search for increased value again. And here we are. So let's go again and search again. So it's gone up again a bit. There you go, 100,000. I'm just going to start putting some people here just because... and it's gone up a little bit. I'm just putting a couple of guys around so I don't get killed. But don't worry about those. Just focus on the sunflower for now. And as it goes up, let's search again for increased value, 3,000. And once again up. And then we get to the top. So we then call another one. And we back down, so we then look for decreased value. Okay, so there's our decreased value. Okay, and then we want to set it up for increased value again. So go back into game, it's increased a little bit. Let's search again. We're down to 59 results, we're nearly there. Increased again, 24 results. Definitely haven't got much to go. And next scan. And obviously, as you do this more and more, you'll get more experience of it. So by having a first look at this, some of you more experienced guys will know straight away that this is most likely the number that we're looking for, the cooldown timer. So as you can see, go again. Mainly because it's a more feasible number. It would be either this one or this one in my opinion, but I definitely recommend it would be this one. Especially because I've done this before and I know it is this one. I think so anyway, I haven't done this in a little while. Anyways, so what we're going to do, just to confirm, we're going to double click that, add that to the list, and let's freeze it and just see what it... As you can see, the value is now frozen, the cooldown is not going to increase. So what do we do to give ourselves an instant cooldown time so that we don't have to wait every time to spawn? So let's say it's fair enough to assume that once it reaches a certain number, like 800, then the plan will be fully cooled down. And there you go, so that's that. And then we call it and we're giving ourselves, so let's say now it started from 0, so let's freeze this at 800 and oops, 800, and hopefully we'll have an instant respawn. So there we go, 800. As you can see that So we have an instant thingy. So this is what you do normally in a game like Modern Warfare. Your character's been injured. Obviously you can't do this online, but some games you'll be able to do certain things like this online. Your character's been injured, his health's down, you freeze that health up there at I think the default health on Modern Warfare is something like 16,000. So you freeze at 16,000, you don't die. You become invincible. Fuck. Okay, that took a while to say that. Yeah, so you become invincible. And this is how a lot of people make a God mode hack for their trainers and so on. You can do this in Black Ops, Zombies, and so on. I was doing this the other day as well myself. So, and that's pretty much it. And you can do this for any of these cooldowns if you're interested in doing it for Plants vs Zombies. It's up to you. So now that is pretty much it for our unknown value tutorial. Hope you now realize how to do. Just have a think about where you can implement this, because there's a lot of things you can do with this, and that includes rapid fire, anything like that. All you do is you freeze a number at a high AS value or a very low value, and then you give yourself an instant thing. So as you can see, I can make an army of sunflowers that do absolutely nothing. As you can see, that no respawn whatsoever, and that's the beauty of it. And that's it pretty much. Let's now get on with the our next tutorial will be the finding multi-level pointers manually. Hope you enjoyed that one. So that one's especially for those of you that aren't really that comfortable with pointers. And after that we'll do another pointers one, and we'll move on to more difficult stuff after that. Okay, thanks for watching, and hope you stick around.
Hey everyone, Chris of Coalition Gaming here. Maybe you've seen our OBS NDI video, the 2PC stream setup. If you haven't, it'll be linked right up here. OBS NDI allows you to take a second computer to do the encoding for your streams, which will help maintain performance on the gaming computer. It'll help your streams look better, and it will help you maintain FPS while gaming and streaming. Number one, does OBS NDI need to be installed on both computers? If you're using two computers, then yes, absolutely, it needs to be installed on both because of the way NDI works. It needs to be sent from one computer and received by the other. The plugin is indeed required for any and all computers involved. We've used it in the 3PC setup. If you want to check that out, the link will be right up here. Number two, it's another common question here. Will my mic audio and game audio and all audio in general be transferred over to the second computer? Yes, it will, as long as all your audio input devices are properly configured in OBS on the gaming computer. Everything will be sent over to the streaming computer. Number three, my screen is black. So sometimes when the NDI is detected on both and you select it as your source on the streaming computer, all you get is a black screen and nothing's happening. Maybe just a little tiny red square. 99% of the time, this is firewall related. So all you have to do is go into your Windows firewall and allow on both public and private, OBS, OBS 64, anything OBS related in Windows firewall, allow it through there. An additional note, if your network is configured as public instead of private or work, it will not work with NDI. You have to go and change that. Details on that will be linked in the description. Number four, can I use my laptop? Honestly, any computer works with this, but yes, you can use your laptop. Now, it's important that it has a gigabit Ethernet port on it, because gigabit Ethernet is essentially what is necessary for this. Over Wi-Fi, not recommended, but we'll get into that in another question. Specs for the laptop should at least be a hyper-threading dual core, like an i3, and that will be great for 720p 30 FPS at the very least. Number five, can I use Mac or Linux? OBS NDI on the plugin page, as a matter of fact, you just got to click it and have a look. OBS NDI is supported on pretty much all major platforms, Windows, Mac, and Linux. So go ahead and have a look there and download your specific one for what you're using, and it should work. Number six, I have slow internet. Can I still use this? Yes. As a matter of fact, OBS NDI has nothing to do with internet speed. We are talking numbers that sound like it would be for internet speed, but it uses network bandwidth. And network bandwidth is the speed of your stuff of your computers and your router in between themselves before it goes out to the internet. So the speed between the computers connected to your router or switch, that is what NDI is using. And as long as everything is gigabit, 10/100/1000 megabits, then you'll be in good shape. Number 7, can I use it over Wi-Fi? OBS NDI technically can be used over Wi-Fi, but unless you have a really good connection, probably a 5 gigahertz wireless AC connection that has a really good upload, or at least just a really good network bandwidth, then it's highly recommended that you don't use it. You want to be wired in with gigabit Ethernet cables. Wi-Fi should be a last resort. Number 8, the stream is laggy on the streaming PC's preview window in OBS. This could be chalked up to a few things, but primarily it's because you don't have enough network bandwidth. Double check your connections are at gigabit speeds, or that they're connected at 1 gigabit per second, and you should be fine. Most of the time this issue is laggy. It's because your connection, something went wrong in the connection and you're only at 100 megabits. OBS NDI at 720p 30 FPS is already using about 100 megabits, and